I didn't say harass. I didn't say harass, Your Honor. I said followed. Is it legal?
Yeah, so that's someone else. That wasn't me. That wasn't Your Honor, just for the record. That was someone else. But that was David.
Is it legal for the state police to follow that representative?
Potentially, right? So if they have reason to believe that someone is going to commit a crime, just like anything else, right? Like if they think I may commit a murder, they can surveil me to see what's going on, right? Or if they have some cause, they can follow that cause to a logical conclusion. But that's not actually the question here, because what actually happened is that they wanted to force these legislators, in fact, did force many legislators to sign what they're calling a permission slip, which actually forces them to sign on to being tailed, which is essentially thought crime. Like they're saying, well, you're thinking about potentially not, basically you're thinking about denying quorum in the future. We want to make sure that there's a cop there so that when we issue a warrant for your arrest under the law, which does exist, which I agree does exist, that there's going to be a cop following you. They do not have to agree to that. Like, there's no basis for that, and that is the problem. Is forcing them to commit to that.
I think I agree with that. I agree with you, Your Honor. I think that it is not a violation of the law. If there's a fact to call, she knows about it, and she then refuses to go to the house as called, the state troopers can arrest her. Correct?
Thank you, Anson. Yes, we understand that. We agree with that.
Then I rest my case, and I'll listen.
Thank you. Now, before anybody says, stop. Before anybody does anything else, I'll let you make your point afterwards. Marshall has a report for us. Marshall, you have the floor.
So I've not been able to get a hold of any Texas representatives.
What, he was going to get hold of somebody in like the past fucking 10 minutes?
They're either in the middle of session or they're doing something. I'm getting voicemail messages. I imagine what's been going on.
He's getting voicemails. He's getting fucking constituents are calling Marshall.
Like what makes sense and what doesn't in this case. The questions I would have would be, what are the House parliamentary rules? What's the law that we're talking about? As Aaron cited, there was one. It allows the state government to do that. If I could wave a magic wand, I'm not going to have a bunch of state troopers follow people all over the place. It just it reeks of intimidation.
It does.
It reeks of intimidation. It may be legal, but it's certainly, to say the very least, is very short-sighted.
Yeah. Thank you, Marshall.
That's going to backfire.
This is the point I was trying to make with Steve, and I also didn't want to break it up with Anson. At some point, this is a discussion about theory. We can argue about the details all day, and at some point the details matter. But in theory, I think we all agree that this is wrong. Now the popcorn is open. Someone wanted to say something.
I just wanted to.
Yeah, this is what happens when you break the rules, you break the laws, and you do whatever you want. There's repercussions for doing whatever you want to do.
And I would change it from being wrong to being arbitrary. It's just arbitrary.
Marshall, I placed it in the chat for you from the Texas State Legislature in regards to the call to House, call to Senate. But the only thing here, it's kind of like you said, though, Marshall, the only thing here that's actually a little bit weird, because you can't arrest and detain them to force them to show up to session, but it has never been used that you have to sign a permission slip to allow them to continue to follow you after the session. That is kind of a whole gray area here. That's why she's pressing charges.
I mean, if I were...
That's the part that isn't actually a gray area, and is the extra legal part that I've been trying to point out from the beginning, and why I said you were wrong before, is that part is the whole part that is the reason for her being detained, and that is not within the law. And that's the problem with what they're doing, is that that's not within the law. and that's where we should focus. And also, if you break the law, there can be repercussions. In this case, it's actually not against the law to deny quorum, but there can be a civil arrest warrant issued. If they had arrested her, they would have been well within their rights. But by the time that this is actually happening, she's in the Capitol and no longer denying quorum. So they can't actually do that to her anymore.
Once there is a call to house, and this is in almost every state, this isn't just Texas, by the way. Once there is a call to house, you have to get permission to leave by the sergeant at arms. You have to be told that you are now allowed to leave by the sergeant at arms. That is the one that's kind of what's confusing a lot of people here. She hasn't been given permission to leave by the sergeant at arms. But please hold on, please hold on, man. Please hold on.
You interrupted me.
I literally put it. I put it in the chat.
You literally just interrupted me, and now you're telling me not to interrupt you back.
You're right. You're right. You know, you're right, Your Honor. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat for you again. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat for you again. Because me and you, we agree that it's total bullshit. But from a legal standpoint here,
yeah, but you're missing.
They are following the Texas state
slip is all that matters. You're making other points that aren't actually relevant to the point that I'm making. We agree that there is a law. We agree on that.
You're not catching the nuance. Your Honor is putting a
Let's
nuance.
let Your Honor is recognized.
Thank you. The thing that you're missing is that the fundamental thing that matters here is that you're forcing her to sign a permission slip. That exact moment is not in law, and that is the problem.
It has never been done before, which is why I called it a gray area here. That's why I said she filed charges. Hold on. Your Honor, this does make it a gray area. What are you saying?
Jay, you're recognized. Wasn't it Jay that was talking?
Yes, and this is why I said this is what makes it a gray area here. It has never been before. Once there's a call to house, as I've stated, and it's in the chat as well, from the Texas state legislature in and of itself, to describe their rules and policies for call to house. I'm sorry, for call of the house. And I probably put it in the chat for you, so I don't know why you're trying to argue this point with me. You have to receive permission to leave. Never in the state of Texas before, for you to be granted to leave, has anyone ever tried to say you have to sign this permission slip in order for me to grant you the right to leave, which is why I keep saying it's a gray area right now until the Texas State Supreme Court goes back and says, yeah, no, this isn't okay, or yeah, no, he's allowed to do this because he did this action per the Texas State Legislature. This is a little gray area to throw.
Okay. Your Honor, do you feel... Wait. Your Honor, do you feel that we've heard you? Jay, do you feel that we've heard you?
All right. So the thing that isn't gray area about those things is what I find very, very frustrating in what he's saying. Is like if I decide to do a citizen's arrest against Marshall, right, and I say to him, hey, you've broken a law. I'm exercising my rights to arrest you, and I'm just going to detain you in my house. That's not gray area. That's kidnapping. Like you don't get to do something that isn't allowable under law and then call it gray area because you feel like it. If the law enforcement mechanism isn't in the law, you don't get to exercise.
Well, you detain them till the police arrive. It's not like your Friday night date life, Your Honor.
Hold on. I think there is really something to be said. And Aram, I want to...
It's not like your Friday night date life.
If you just would allow me. Your knowledge of parliamentary procedure and like bylaws.
This isn't about...
Your Honor.
Marshall is recognized. Texas law. Marshall is recognized.
No. What I meant.
I don't know what's going on here. I've been talked over by 3 people, and now I get unrecognized.
You can finish.
He's upset.
Okay, let me just say this very succinctly. Oh, the criminal law has, under the U.S. system, is very defined and prescriptive. That's a good thing, right? We don't want people freestyling when it comes to the opportunity to exercise state violence or to detain people or simply just in following the law, like according to good law enforcement, right? And just maintaining the law and order and the peace and so on and so forth. We want it to be prescriptive and specific. That is a good thing. Where powers are not prescribed to law enforcement, they do not have those powers. That's how our law works. They do not have the right to force these people to sign permission slips. That is not in the law. And that's not gray area because the law doesn't say it, so it's not there.
Yeah, we all know the permission slip is optional.
Wait. Your Honor has said This is not gray area, and it is not legal. Do I understand you, Your Honor?
The permission slip part and detaining someone for permission slips
That's not legal.
are not in the law.
Right.
Is at best extra legal.
Yes.
And not illegal.
Do you feel that we've heard your point?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Marshall?
More when I was mentioning bylaws, what I was meaning was the Sergeant at Arms of the Texas House, his enforcement wing is the DPS, at least as I understand the Texas Constitution. And so part of me trying to put this together, because I tend to agree with you. If it's not written, it's not there. The argument that you should have to sign a permission slip rankles my nose, to say the very least. I'm more curious whether the House Sergeant at Arms is able to hold her, and so that's why I said bylaws, because the Sergeant at Arms operates, at least as I understand it, and I could be totally wrong, but operates under the parliamentarian, or they're together. And so I was curious about the internal procedures of the Texas House that would do this stuff and then allow enforcement. Because I understand the part about the law, and I didn't intend to complain about the law itself. It's the features that made the chamber work.
You're a reporter.
The Sergeant goes under the the Speaker of the House.
Yes. Let's let candidate, who's been very patient, and I appreciate him following the rules. Let's let candidate make a statement.
Yeah, I think we've heard Your Honor repeat himself about 3 to 5 times now. It's up to this young woman if she wants to sign the slip or not. But if they imprisoned her in a library and said you can't leave unless you sign, well, you know what? She fell for the mousetrap, and you can't just, obstruct the law and do whatever you want to do. You have to obey decorum and the rules. So this is just another perfect example of people who feel like they don't have to obey rules or laws, and it's their silent protest. But she doesn't have to sign that piece of paper, and she doesn't have to leave. She could just sit there in the library, use the bathroom, and just live there. If she really wants to protest, she could do it. But you guys are wasting a whole lot of time talking about nothing. That's my opinion.
Well, you've chosen to stay here, and I appreciate that you expressed your opinion. I'm not sure I understand it. I think what you're saying is that you think that she has disobeyed the law by not staying for the quorum, and it's okay with you, and I'm putting words in your mouth intentionally, it's okay with you that the Texas House wants to monitor her and not ask for her permission to be monitored. That's okay with you. Do I understand your
she
point?
can protest all she wants, but she's going to reap the repercussions of her protest. That's fine. Go for it. Do it. Be a protester.
Okay. Thank you. I hope you feel that you've been heard. All right. We've had a long dialogue on this. Does anybody want to throw in? At this point, you're welcome. Yasi, your mic is covered. Yasi, get your hand off your mic.
Tucker came to the room. He didn't on stage. He didn't say anything. I don't know if he wants. And one thing that is mentioned in the chat, I think it's good to remember, to say it out loud, is that she's not just the woman; she is an elected representative.
That's correct.
Yeah, Yahtzee, he spoke earlier. I don't think you were here yet when he was
Tucker,
talking.
go ahead. Yassi's concerned that you feel hurt. Do you feel hurt?
I do, and apparently it either makes you laugh or cry, depending on your perspective.
Okay, it's important to me that people feel heard. Not necessarily that we agree, but that we feel heard. And the other thing that's terribly important to me is we find what common ground we can. There isn't a lot of it, but there is some. And I think when we find that common ground, at least we can work towards something. So thank you. Yasi makes a really outstanding point that it's not the woman. She is an elected representative equal to any man. Does anybody want to argue that? Thank you.
Yossi did it. Sorry, Yossi did it, and it was from the chat. Dennis, I think, said it first. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Alan, can you remind everybody how many felonies Donald Trump is guilty of, please?
34.
34 felonies. So why doesn't the Congress just lock Donald Trump in the White House, and hold him, hostage and arrest him, because he's been convicted of 34 felonies, Alan?
I love that idea, John. Are you serious?
Yeah, 100%. Why don't we just not let Donald Trump leave the White House? Because he's guilty of 34 felonies. Duh, he's a felon. He's guilty of 34 felonies, and he's just roaming the land, doing whatever he wants, posting whatever he wants. I mean, come on, Alan, why can't Congress arrest him? 34 felonies.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Exception argument ever. This is the guy who was just saying that people should be arrested and detained for thought crimes with his FAFO or something. But now when it comes to Donald Trump, he's essentially arguing the opposite. Like, you can't make this up, man. Like, it's just wild how MAGA logic works.
MAGA logic?
MAGA logic is wild, but if he wants to make the point that Donald Trump should be, if a Republican wants to make the point that Donald Trump should be arrested, I will go with that. I can support that. The question, of course, is will he stick to it? But we don't know that true or false. So let's.
I mean, he'd have to be impeached first, Alan. I'm just saying, if we give him a notice and we say, we know you're guilty of 34 felonies, therefore we can't let you be the president anymore. I mean, why can't Congress just arrest or detain Donald Trump, Alan?
So you would be in favor of impeaching Donald Trump?
Now, John. Sorry, Alan.
No, you have it. Jane has the floor.
With love, kick out John. This is getting dumb.
Go ahead, Jane. I'm sorry.
Dumb. She said it's getting dumb, and
I said with love to John.
I just want to say, Alan, I feel like I've been heard. I feel like I've been heard, Alan. Thank you.
Nobody cares.
Okay. Dismal, you have been invited to the stage. Sue, you're here. Do you have anything you want us to throw in?
I don't see Sue on the stage.
You have the floor, Dismal.
But I see Denise, and Denise was in the room before me, so perhaps she has more to offer first.
You make your point, and then I'll recognize Denise.
Okay, I think you should potentially remove John. If possible, he is trolling. He doesn't have much to offer in terms of actual information or substance. So what I would just say is what we are, like, we're constantly pushing democratic values to the point where it's exhausting. We are literally, like, denigrating certain things, and now we're thinking, oh, it's normal. It's just normal. It's just every day. Checkpoints in DC were not a thing under Biden or his predecessor or Bush, and this is just isn't normal. The crime rate in DC has gone down, yet we're pushing more people to more National Guards from areas of predominantly white areas where they're not going to be familiar with DC culture, and we're arming them with weapons, which is intimidating.
It moved me. Whoa, they deleted my Clubhouse. My Clubhouse account got deleted. Oh my God. On the spot deleted. I wonder why. What did I say? Okay, this has been Trump derangement syndrome. Unbelievable, but they just wiped out my Clubhouse account. We're probably going to have to go back to just recording Clubhouse. Anyways, this has been a Trump derangement syndrome, Democrat, liberal therapy session. This is Rep. Candidate Congressman John Kitover in the 16th District of Illinois. Go to johnforcongress.com. Cannot believe they just deleted that shit. Holy shit. On the spot account deletion. Damn. Oh man, that's too bad. Okay, well that's the show then. I guess we'll see if we can just jump into an X account, because I actually don't have any more Clubhouse accounts. Dr. Adams. I think Dr. Adams got me reported. We'll see. My account was suspended. All my accounts are suspended. All my Clubhouse accounts have been suspended. We've been suspended from Clubhouse across all of our accounts, I think. So that means I'm going to get a new account and just go incognito, anonymous. Thank you, Clubhouse.
They are the problem. Then they send the Kim Kardashians out on the women's side and tell them to all go be prostitutes. So what does that do? Well, it gets them in a frame where all they care about are the men with the money and the materialism and the meal in front of them, and to just try and get another rush of dopamine. Well, then what are people going to turn to? Mindless entertainment, video games, drugs, alcohol, SSRIs, pornography, strip clubs. I mean, we can see this goes to Gotham. And the people that stand up and want to suggest that this is detrimental to our society, well, who are they critiqued by? It's the people that have all the money that are propped up by the system that say, oh, well, you're just upset because you didn't get your bag. No. I don't care about the money. I'm fine in that regard. What I'm not fine with is that everything around me is turning to decay under this system. I want people to be happy. I want women to aspire to be loving mothers. If they want to go into the workforce because they feel like that'll bring them some kind of, sincere joy in their life, well, then fine. But let it be a choice. Don't propagandize that they have to do it or they're lesser than. Don't propagandize that a literal prostitute with $5 million twerking on a stage is more valuable to society than a loving mother raising her children to be productive members of tomorrow. Like, that's ludicrous. But this is what we get when we live in a system where everything is controlled by those that push this degeneracy because it's all that they know. And so you get to the end of it and it's like, well, what do we live under? It feels like it's the synagogue of you-know-what, because it feels like every power structure isn't just taking all of the money, all of the resources, and pushing out nothing but genocide. It also feels like they're desperate to normalize their perverse worldview on everyone. And you know who would do that? An insecure freaking narcissist. Because at the end of the day, they look out at the world from their penthouses and they see happy families that are still out there in spite of all of the propaganda. And they know deep down in their heart that they are miserable, which is why they take more, which is why Jeff Bezos isn't comfortable with $100 billion. It has to be $1 trillion, while his employees are literally bankrupt. While 40 or 30% of his Amazon employees live off government subsidies because they don't make a living.
But the stock is at an all-time high.
The stock's at an all-time high for who? Who owns the stock?
For the shareholders.
30% of his Amazon employees live off government subsidies because they don't make a living.
But the stock is at an all-time high.
The stock's at an all-time high for who? Who owns the stock? In all sincerity, who owns the stock? Who owns 50 to 60 to 70% of all stock? Is it your average American? Is it your working class? No. They have nothing. And so if I am Jeff Bezos, I am miserable. You know why? Because he has a miserable frame. He has no compass. He's lost. He could turn around. I did the math once, and then I'll end it on this time. I did the math once, and I recommend everybody go and do this. Take the net worth of Jeff Bezos. Go and look it up. Take the number. Then plug it in and say, hey, based on this, if you were to invest 90% of it conservatively, what's the return on the investment that he's going to make? Now,
Okay, I'm going to end this live stream, and we're going to get our new Clubhouse incognito set up and redirect the cameras back into Clubhouse. Hope you've enjoyed.
Interest on his net worth and return it to the people that were actually making his company function.